Hey everybody, what is going on? Midnight Assassin 2003, and we are back again with another Flight Simulator X plane review video. But today we're doing a very special aircraft. I forgot to put this plane in with the timeline again. I messed up, but I'm pretty sure a lot of aircraft fans know of this plane. This is the famous Spirit of St. Louis aircraft, which was piloted by none other than Charles A. Lindbergh, who took this airplane and flew across the Atlantic Ocean all the way to Ireland. This airplane was the very first aircraft to make a transatlantic crossing, and he did it through so much. Like, this guy had to fly through storms, wind, all kinds of stuff in this little plane. And he was only able to see out of this little tiny piece that was on the window, was on like the front of the aircraft, because it has no windows. As you see here, it's just got the door. So yeah, and this is also one of those first mono aircraft as well. So we are taking off from Hamilton again. I couldn't find the airport or airfield that this airplane took off from, but this aircraft took off from Roosevelt Field in Mineola, New York, which is where the aircraft was built and manufactured. Pilot was American, and his goal was actually to, like, after he got, I think he flew 3,520 miles to Paris, and then all the way to Ireland, which is actually where he ended up getting to, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so this is a very incredible aircraft, and it's pretty much, like, one of its nicknames is just like the M1 or M2 for monoplane, meaning that this aircraft, instead of having 2 or 3 wings, it has just one single set, as you see right here. So the aircraft was manufactured by Ryan, NYP Spirit of St. Louis Incorporated, or just, sorry, that's the aircraft. The manufacturer was Ryan Airlines Incorporated, so that's the guys who made the plane. I'm pretty sure they still go on today, but I'll show you what the aircraft looks like in case you haven't seen it. So it looks like this. It's very, very simple design. I do not think that this is steel. I think this is either canvas or something like that. I might be wrong. I think it's either metal or canvas or something. But yeah, as you can see, there's 0 windows on this aircraft. So he had to use this panel that was placed inside of the front of the aircraft, and he had to look through there to see, or he could also look through these side areas here. So it's got some of the initials on it, a bit of the serial codes and names and all that. So here's the door. I'm going to open that up. So there it opens right there, and let's hop into the cockpit. Okay, so now we're in the cockpit of the airplane. So this is a very, very simple design. Not even a whole lot to it. Magneto switch is right here. This right there, that's your instrument panel lights. This is an engine primer. This is your fuel mixture, as you see right there. Right here is the piece that he had to kind of pull a little bit out, just so he could see what where he was. So that's the little panel piece that sticks out of the front of the plane. It's not shown here though, but it's okay. That's fine. And then you just shut that back, and there you go. So now, yeah, so that basically was just a periscope. And then you have other things up here, like your magnetic compass he had. And up top, you'd usually see this on most Cessnas or something like that. Well, not usually most Cessnas. But you had a sunroof on here, so he could, track the stars and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much all he had was a map and a decently large sum of food. And I think when he went to go to the washroom, when he had to do his thing, it'd be back there. And he held a bunch of food and rations and maps on that shelf right here. Okay, so you got your normal control stick. Engine is pretty much right out in front of you here. So this is your pitch for your elevator trim. That is throttle. which should be off. Carburetor heat, and this, what is this? It's a something. Okay. Alright, so that's a something. And then he just got a lawn chair to sit on. Isn't that funny? And then that, I think, is a thingamabob. I don't really know. Okay, so basic instruments. The panel on this plane was very, very simple. You have a horizon thing. Well, these are right here, so your degrees of turn. That's your airspeed in miles per hour. This plane was slow as hell, so it wasn't really going to go that fast. There's your clock. Your altitude emitter, RPM, magneto switch, mixture, oil pressure, fuel, and oil temperature. And that's that. So that's basically it. Oh, and your compass up top. But yeah, so that's basically it for the plane, well, for its panel. So, before we get her in the air, let's do some history, shall we? So, as I already mentioned, the aircraft was built by Ryan Airlines Incorporated in 1927. The engine was a Wright Whirlwind J-5-C9 cylinder radial air-cooled 200 horsepower engine. It's normal for an airplane like this. The aircraft was about 27.5 feet long and had a wingspan of about 46 feet. It's pretty good. She was about 8 feet tall. That's about it. So not that tall of a plane. And decently light too. The guys were able to pick this aircraft up by the rudder because there was no tail wheel, so they had to pick her up by the elevators and then position her on the field. By the way, they took off, well, he took off from a kind of like a muddy dirt field, so it took the airplane a bit to get off the ground, and he almost struck a tree, but he just missed it. And there's actually a movie of this called the St. Louis, if you want to go watch that. It's pretty interesting. I've seen bits of it, but it's not a bad movie. So the aircraft's top speed, well, cruising speed, was about 112 miles an hour, or about 180 kilometers an hour, so it's not as fast. Its service ceiling, so he was able to fly up to about 16,400 feet. That's not bad, though I wouldn't really recommend doing so because, you know, it might get a bit chilly up there. So the aircraft was able to fly 4,100 miles on a full tank, so that's pretty far, and only a crew of one, which was Charles. So, now that we got the history out of the way, let's get this aircraft in the air, shall we? Okay, so prop fuel mixture is now on rich, so all I really got to do is just turn this and then the engine will start right up. And there we go. Okay, so very basic startup, so now let's crank her up and get her airborne. So I picked this aircraft mainly because, well, it was a part of the timeline thing, and also it's a very special aircraft. Like, you can't really do an aircraft review or like an airplane review series without putting this aircraft on here because it's a very special plane. So I had to add it in. But the airplane that I'm doing right after this is the J3 Piper Cub, just to get back to the timeline thing, because Piper Cubs, those are, surprisingly, they were built, I think one of the first ones, they were built in 37 or something like that, so they're very old planes, but you still see a lot of them flying around today. But yeah, so you see the airplane's takeoff kind of radius is not that good. It takes a while for this airplane to get into the air. It did take up quite a bit of runway, and this plane has no brakes at all, so he had to use a decently long runway to slow the plane completely down, but it got there eventually. So its climb rate is very bad. It takes a while for this thing to get to a good altitude, so that's why you should use your trim as much as you can. Don't use it too much, but just use enough to get the airplane to a steady kind of height. So I got this plane from, I think, Flyaway Simulation. Yeah, I got this from flyawaysimulation.com. I'll put the link to the aircraft in the description below for you guys. I think I forgot to do that for... wait a minute, no, hold on. No, I put the link for the de Havilland Comet. I just remembered I did that. I thought I forgot about it, but no, I didn't. So this one here is coming up right next. If you guys really want to get this plane, I would definitely recommend this airplane for pretty much all of those antique kind of aircraft lovers out there, but also just if you're going to want to put a good old-fashioned chunk of history into your plane collection, this is the aircraft to put it in there. Yes, it's slow. Yeah, it's not fast, and it's not really going to get you anywhere, which is what I meant by slow. Its climb rate is terrible. It's heavy on takeoffs. It takes up a lot of runway. There's no brakes or anything like that. You can't taxi with it. You gotta start on an active runway or something like that, or just on any kind of runway. Its climb rate's terrible. You're not gonna get up to 16,000 feet in 30 minutes. No, you're gonna get up to 16,000 feet in about 2 hours. So, you know, it's not the best plane in the world, but it's a piece of history. It's a flying piece of history, and that's why I would recommend this plane. So out of 10, I'm not, well, I might consider maybe like a 9.5. Now that's only my personal perspective. The only reason why I'm giving it that mark is just because of the historical accuracy on this aircraft. They've got it right. You know, like they got the airplane's design right, which is a good thing. They got, you know, like your interior is correct, you know, like you gotta use this panel piece to see out of the thing. Like if you're gonna fly and you want to look ahead of you, you gotta use that. Now you could use your side panels here, but those aren't really gonna do a whole lot if you really want to see like straight ahead. Now these are pretty good, but they've also modeled the interior of the plane perfectly. Like, you know, like you got your radial engine, that's right in front of you. The panel is sitting right behind it. You know, and even the levers too. So this is a perfectly modeled, it's 100% almost accurate cockpit, and 100% almost accurate airplane design. So the model flies beautifully. It doesn't handle the best, but once you get it up to speed, it's gonna be okay, sort of. I say that loosely with this plane, but you know, it's there. So I just respect the aircraft for what it is, and surprisingly enough, this is the plane that was first to cross the North Atlantic Ocean. So yeah, this is the first plane to make a transatlantic crossing, which is a big thing, and I think the guy got $25,000 for it, because I think there was a challenge or something like that, where if you could cross transatlantic, you get $25,000, and he was the first one to do it, so he got the prize money. At least that's what they say. So it's pretty interesting. Also noting up, one of the first videos that I did make for this series about the Spartan Executive, one of my subscribers, he actually has this plane. In real life, it's a beauty, absolute beauty. He has it in such good condition, and there's very few of those planes still flying today. I think there's only like 7 or something of them still airworthy. And he has this beautiful Spartan Executive in great condition, and if you do check on the comments there, you'll actually see his comment, and you can check out his channel there, and he's got a couple of videos of his plane, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's a gorgeous aircraft. Okay, so now let's try to land this thing. So there are no flaps for this plane, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know, that's life. So, yeah, no flaps at all, which kind of sucks, but you know, gotta deal with it somehow. Okay, so we don't really need the trim no more, and as you can see, we're only going, as required, 150 miles an hour, so this plane is not fast, but it gets us there. So right now my throttle is at 75, oh no, sorry, 50%, which is okay. This aircraft is going to need a decent distance to stop, so I will have to slow it down a bit more if we're going to try stopping this thing. And landing it is not fun. Like, if you are doing it the professional way, without cheating like how I'm doing, it's going to be a real big game of charades, because you can't see. Like, the guy had to pop his head, or I think he either had to stand up to look through that periscope. You can't do this in this game, so you just gotta guess, like pretty much 100% of the time of where the aircraft's gonna end up going. Because your side panels aren't gonna do a whole lot, but they're kind of, you know, sort of working, but the airplane is descending pretty quickly. Okay, yeah, we're gonna touch on the dirt. And we're down. Okay. That's probably better to do anyway, because this thing's gonna need a while to stop. Although we are going decently fast. I won't be able to get back up in the air, so, you know. Now we just gotta hold out here. Okay, I can release the yoke and just let the plane come to a stop. And there we are. Oh my. Okay, that was interesting. Alright, let's just power it off. Wow. Alright, so, anyway, that was that. So that's the video of the Spirit of St. Louis. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this, and I will definitely put the link to this aircraft in the description below, so don't forget to check that out. And also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit those post notifications so you do not miss out on any other video coming out. Next aircraft is going to be the J3 Piper Cub, which is a base model airplane, so you're not going to have to go to any website to download it. Yeah, so stay tuned for that one. Make sure that you guys do leave a like and let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments below. And I will talk to you guys on the next one. Take care.